Well, guys, we're back. Boxing Day has arrived, which means the 2020 World Juniors are underway. And we're obviously going to start off with the first game of the day, the host Czech Republic taking on Russia. At the beginning of this game, though, it was really tough to watch Jakub Loko, a player I wanted you guys to keep an eye on, get really badly injured right in the first minute there. He was unable to put any weight on his right leg, and he was sitting by the bench during the game, no gear on, crutches, ice packs and everything on that leg. It does not look good for the Czech forward. Although this game was absolutely crazy. Right out the gates, much to the hype of it, such a high flying physical start. Players, one that I really was fond of there, Romanov, playing really physical for a guy who's supposed to be taking a leading role this year. Really emotional, so much intensity. Regardless of Russia's efforts though, 2 goals from the Czechs were there to start it off. One from Simon Kubicek, and then one from 17-year-old 2020 draft prospect, Jan Mysak. And what I tell you, that was a beautiful shot coming down the wing. Russia would respond with 2 goals that were in the late ends of their power play, like 1 second after, 2 seconds after. Either way, those goals were scored by Igor Zamula and Canucks prospect Vasily Podkolzin. We would then jump into the second period where the rest of the scoring of the game would take place. The Czech Republic would get one more with a goal from Matej Blumel, but that lead would not last long as Igor Zamula came down and scored his second, a beautiful wrister right in the slot. Although it was after this when Russia would start having problems with penalties. They would go on to get 3 penalties in a minute span, causing Jan Jenik to get another goal for the Czech Republic, making it a 4-3 lead. And unfortunately, that was all the scoring that happened. The third period was dormant, Yaroslav Askarov got pulled for Russia, and then, just like I said, nothing really happened. There was a ton more penalties though for Russia. Russia was pressing, they wanted this win really bad, but penalties, including a boarding and a 10-minute misconduct at the end. Russia's chances were foiled by the Czech Republic. The host nation carries out a win against their big rivals. If there's 2 things Russia has to take from this, it's to work on their penalty kill and stop taking meaningless penalties if it means you're going to go to that poor penalty kill. They play against Canada tomorrow, and if they play as undisciplined and have such a poor penalty kill again, they will not stand a chance. The second game that occurred today was Switzerland versus Kazakhstan. Probably the most low-profile game of the day, but it still had its ups and downs. Switzerland had an okay outing, actually taking the game 5-3, with a couple of goals from Matthew Verboon, the NCAA player from Switzerland, and then a couple of goals from Kazakhstan player Maxim Musarov. All in all, this is a good effort from, the team that almost faced relegation last year, nearly beating the team that came 4th overall last year. And for highlight's sake, there was a little bit of a greasy goal that snuck by the pad of Vlad Nurek on Kazakhstan. One of those ones that bounce off the boards, off the pad into the net, you just hate to see it. Either way, a respectable performance from both teams. We now jump into what was arguably the hottest game of the day. Canada versus USA, first game of the tournament for both of those teams. You usually don't see this. But anyways, let's get into it. All USA in those first 5 minutes there, including a goal by Shane Pinto on the power play. Canada had a little bit of a bounce back until another penalty taken by Jared McIsaac led to a beautiful goal by Arthur Kaliev, which was more so beautiful on the fact that Trevor Zegras pulled off an insane move and made the beautiful assist. At this point in the game, Canada's defense was really lacking, and it was visible to see. The defensive poise just was not there for the first 2 periods and even most of the game. Although Canada scored 3 unanswered in the second period there, with goals from McMichael, Hayton, and Foote. They brought back the resurgence. Shane Pinto also nearly tied it up at the end of that second, but it was further reviewed and it was no goal. The light went on and everything before the puck went in, so it was a nail biter for a little bit there. As we went into the third period though, Barrett Hayton would score another power play goal to make it 4-2, although in the final 10 minutes, the USA started putting on major pressure, and with goals from Nick Robertson and Shane Pinto again, they made it 4-4 with about 3 minutes left. Although, on the next face-off, it could have been anybody, but of course, it was Alexis Lafreniere, batting it down in front of Spencer Knight's cage, pulling off a dirty move to his forehand, puts it around Spencer Knight's pad. Gorgeous goal to secure Canada the victory over the States for the first time in almost 4 years. Ty Dellandrea would finish it off with an empty netter with an assist from no other than Alexis Lafreniere. He finished the game with 4 points, a goal and 3 assists. awesome. Just an awesome game to watch, guys. I was on the edge of my seat for most of it, but holy cow, what a game. Now into our final game, which is arguably once again just such a rivalry. Sweden versus Finland. The two top teams in Group A facing off for the first game of the whole tournament again for themselves. Like, wow. Anyways, late in the first, Patrick Pistiola put it away on a power play. The Carolina Hurricanes prospect is bound to be one of the dominant players this year for him. Anyways, we go to the second period, and you guys have already seen it. I can't believe, like, is it funny too how I believed when I saw his name on the score sheet? Because I wasn't watching this game, I was watching Canada. Is it just weird that I thought it was even a lacrosse goal just because I saw Nils Hoglander's name on it and it ends up being it? This is one of the nicest ones I've ever seen. He pulls it around the entire net. That was just crazy. Can't believe he pulled it off on the international scale. Anyways, that would be followed up with another goal by Finland by Christian Tanas, assisted by Pistiola for his second point of the game. But then we went into the third, and Samuel Fajmo, one of the players I told you to watch out for, buries one from Nils Hoglander, and then that finds us in overtime here. And if this game would not be in overtime if it weren't for the goaltending of Justus Annunen and Hugo Alnefelt. These guys were astounding the entire game, although it had to come to an end, and none other than 17-year-old Alexander Holtz finishes it off with a wrister that Justus Annunen could not grasp, and it falls into the net to give Sweden their 49th win in a row in the preliminary stage. Wow, like, I didn't expect this one to end the way that it did. I also just want to take a moment here because there was another pretty scary injury for Finnish forward Rasmus Kapari. Took a weird hit from Philip Broberg, fell down awkwardly, and he needed help getting off the ice as well. So the one thing that really makes this one interesting is that Finland has limited forwards, and if Kapari is seriously hurt, they have to bring up a defense to play somewhere on the forward core. I would say it'd be someone probably like Anthony Honka, or maybe like one of those guys that are just really offensive, but it's going to be funny to see what Finland has to do under this situation. And also for this year's edition of World Junior coverage, I'd like to also add a top player segment at the end of each episode, much like I do with my WHL Weekly series. So let's just get right into it here. First off, Alexis Lafreniere. Do I need to say more? He just got the game-winning goal after his team just allowed one, and he had 4 points on that too. Like, wow. Second, Nils Hoglander, lacrosse goal and an assist, keeping your team alive with that 49-game win streak. Outstanding. And then third, we got Nick Robertson on the States. He had himself a pretty good game. He had a really nice goal on Nico Dosh that I think is going to be greatly underappreciated in the grand scheme of things. That was an awesome shot. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the recap on Boxing Day with the 2020 World Juniors. There's plenty more to come. Plenty more is bound to happen. There can be teams that all of a sudden just lose every game or all of a sudden win every game. We still have no idea yet, but it was definitely a fun day of hockey. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night.